Right guys, so day one. So hopefully you've done your wee bit of walking this morning, or you're going to do your bit of walking, a bit of cardio. Guys, I can't emphasize enough how important the aerobic work is here. So we'll try and give you a wee bit of a sort of picture of what's happening here. Here's the way that I always try and view this. This is the analogy that I would use, the way I would describe it. Even though you mightn't be mechanically minded, which I'm not, I use this in terms of thinking about a car using fuel. Because what you have to understand here, right, is calories is just energy. That's all it is. The word calorie just means a unit of energy. Simple as that. Same as whatever other unit of energy you want to think about. In this case, in this analogy, we're going to think about petrol in a car. All right, it's exactly the same thing. It's all it is. The food that you eat, the calories you eat, are just energy for cellular function in your body. Petrol is energy for mechanical function in a car. It's as simple as that. For a combustion engine to produce movement, it needs an energy source. For us to produce movement, we need an energy source. It's as simple as that, right? That's really that basic. So calories is energy. When we eat energy, we've got what's called the first law of thermodynamics, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed but transported from one state to another. That's physics that applies, the law of physics applies to every known energy system in the entire universe that we know about. Even us, even with food, it's the same thing. The reason why you gained excess body fat was that you consumed more energy than you used. End of. It's not about what food. It wasn't about this was a good food or this was a bad food or this was a fattening food or that was a non-fattening food. It was the fact that you consumed more calories than what you used in a day, and you continuously did that. Therefore you accumulated excess energy. Excess energy is stored as body fat. Every single fucking calorie you ate that you didn't use that day for cellular function, you stored as body fat. Alright, you have to understand that. It's not about a good food or a bad food, or this food's fattening, or that's a Pringle and that's a banana. It makes no fucking difference. It was just too many calories. End of. The problem with, we'll get on this in another video, but the problem with things like Pringles, for example, as opposed to a banana, is that they're hyper palatable and they are processed. Therefore things like fiber are removed, and other things are added in, the chemicals and salts and stuff like this, to make them hyper palatable and make them actually scientifically designed for you to overconsume. Because they're very low calorie per thing, per actual Pringle, you can go bang, 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 and eat them that quick that you override your I'm full up sensors, if you want, right? Your leptin, your ghrelin sensors. Therefore you overconsume it. Over a banana, because there's fiber, because there's other things in it, just slow to digest, they make you feel full for longer. You will not, the chances of over consuming are decreased. But anyway, that's for a different video. So what we have to think about here, think about a car. So you're driving a car every day, and your car travels 100 miles every day. All right, so what you do, if we had an energy balance, we would stop at a petrol station first thing in the morning, or we fill a car before it even drives, and we put in 100 miles worth of fuel. All right, petrol tank can hold 100 miles worth of fuel. You can drive 100 miles that day. At the end of the day, when we switch the car off, i.e. go to bed, we have energy balance. There's no excess, there's no surplus, there's no deficit, there's no nothing. It's just, that's energy balance. That's the way we should be living our life, energy balance. So what has happened to make you gain weight is, for that journey that took 100 miles, you were putting on, say, 110 or 120, say in this case 110 miles worth of fuel every day for a car that only drove 100 miles. At the end of the day, there's 10 miles worth of fuel left over. It can't just disappear. You don't just poop it out. It doesn't magically, the weight loss phase don't come and sprinkle it on you because it was fucking salads that you overconsumed as opposed to cream fingers. It was 10 miles worth of fuel more than you drove. Simple as that. Alright, so imagine from the car scenario, we have a wee trailer that we're going to tow. It's a wee reserve tank, a wee bun, a wee thing, you know, imagine a wee round tub like your oil tank that's getting towed by a car. Your reserve, that surplus energy, gets put on there, and the body of the car will think, right, you know what, in case we run low on energy, I'll be able to get that. Alright, I'll get that later. But the problem is, you woke up the next day and you put in another 110 miles worth of fuel for a journey that was 100 miles. So then you put another 10 litres, another 10 miles worth of fuel there. And you did that over and over and over. And some days it was 40, some days it was 30, some days it was 10, but it was always more energy than you used the previous day. That's how that tanker became full of energy. Your fat cells, which are just wee bags that hold excess energy or reserve energy, just start to fill up and start to fill up and start to fill up because we've stored them with energy that we did not use. Alright, so right now, when we're on this weight loss phase, fat loss phase, whatever we want to call it, our objective is to tap into that. We want to use that. That's the fat, that's the excess energy, that's the stored energy, because that's all it is. It's just stored energy. Right? It's not cream fingers, it's not anything else, it's energy. Right? You've got to get rid of this good food, bad food, fattening food, non-fattening food. It's excess energy, surplus or deficit or balance. End of. Alright, so we want to tap on that. So our car still drives 100 miles every day. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in 90 miles worth of fuel for a journey that takes 100 miles. Well, in fact, in our case, because we're doing this really intense, we're going to put in 50 miles worth of fuel for a journey that's 100 miles. That means that we are in an energy deficit for the journey. Alright, so the journey's still 100 miles. We're still going to drive the car 100 miles, but we're only going to put in 50 miles worth of fuel. So where are we going to get the other 50 miles worth of fuel from? The car's not just going to magically freewheel. We're going to take that extra 50, because we're in an energy deficit, from the reserve tank. So we're going to tap into the reserve tank to get the other 50 to complete the journey. And that's how we tap into this reserve tank. Now, we can only do this extreme for so long before the car actually runs out of usable energy. It's just, you know what, I'm driving too much here. I'm only going to today, because this is such hard work happening on this reserve tank, because it is hard, it's difficult, because we've got to actually operate a wee pump. So whenever we go on, remember we talked about the 50 miles, so we use the 50 miles, the tank's now empty, the car now goes, shit, light comes on the dashboard, right? The petrol light starts flashing. Shit, you need to stop at a petrol station. But you go, no, I'm not going to stop at a petrol station today. I'm going to tap into my reserve tank. I am fasting myself from putting in more energy. Alright, I'm going to go longer. So look, the engine goes, okay, I'm going to switch on a wee pump, which is your lever. I'm going to switch on the wee pump, and I'm going to tap into that reserve tank. But the wee pump requires energy as well too. Now, sometimes if we do this too long, that wee pump just goes, you know what, I'm bit today, and the car just goes boom. So this is why we only do wee short bursts. But again, different video. So we tap on that reserve tank to take the excess 50. Now, that's all well and good if we're just dieting, right? We're just going to use the energy deficit to try and tap into the reserve tank. But here's what we want to do. Here's what works even better. So take the same scenario. We're traveling 100 miles every day. I'm going to take 50 miles from the petrol tank, which is your eating window, and we take 50 miles from the reserve tank because we're fasting. We're not stopping at all the petrol stations today. But to make this even better, I'm going to drive the car 120 miles today. I'm going to put my foot in the accelerator. I'm going to drive it even harder. So I'm going to tap into even more reserve. So not just am I not putting in any more fuel, I'm now going to increase my energy expenditure by doing some exercise, some aerobic activity, which is really going to tap into that. Then I'm going to do some weight training. So instead of the engine being a 1 litre engine, it's now going to be a 3 litre engine. So even turning the key, the engine just sitting revving is going to burn more fuel. So not just have I increased the engine's capacity by doing weight training and increasing muscle efficiency and muscle energy expenditure, but I'm now going to go for a walk, so I'm going to drive the car even further. So I've increased the engine capacity and I've increased how far the engine is going to go. I'm now going to suck the life out of that reserve tank, so there's nothing left. Does that make sense? So that's why, as well as the fasting, we want energy expenditure. So we're now driving the car, we're now increasing the capacity of the engine to burn fuel, increased metabolism, and then we're going to drive the car even faster and further because we're fitter and moving more, and we're going to decrease the amount of energy that's coming in, so we have to tap on that reserve tank really, really hard. Does that make sense? So this is why we want to be exercising, resistance training to increase the engine capacity, aerobic training to burn more fuel, and decrease energy coming in. So we tap on that reserve tank. So we're not just taking 50 miles worth out of it, we're taking 70 or 80. Does that make sense? So that's why we need to be doing all of these things. watch out for more videos. We'll break this down even more. Good luck on your first day. Any issues, give me a shout. Now today we are going to be fasting right through to 4 hours warrior diet. All right, 4 hours all this week. All right, good luck.